to the Headhunt Postgraduate Fair. Today we have with us Prof. Themin and Prof. Jiwei from SMU School of Accountancy to share with us on SOA's MSA and MPA programs. Before I hand over the time to them, just a couple of housekeeping matters to take note of. Should you have any questions, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. At the end of the session, we'll be conducting a poll quiz where you will stand a chance to win $5 Capita vouchers. Without further ado, I will now pass the time to Prof. Themin. Prof. Themin, please.
Thank you very much. And I guess it's still good morning to everybody. It's 10 minutes before noon. Good morning to everybody. And again, welcome to this session with us at Singapore Management University as part of the Headhunt program postgraduate fair. I have with me today Professor Wang Jiwei from the School of Accountancy. But before I pass the time to Jiwei, if I could just do a very quick introduction about us and what we do, and give you a little bit of a perspective about the totality of the portfolio of programs that we have at Singapore Management University. Can my team confirm that my slides are being projected?
Yes, it's fine.
Thank you very much. All right. So I'm the again, as I said, my name is Themin. I'm actually one of the accounting professor. I'm colleagues with Prof. Wang. We started at accountancy almost at the same time, a long time ago in the school. But my role now is to look after, try to help SMU with the entire portfolio of our programs. And these are what we call our professional postgraduate program. A lot of people say it's a coursework masters as opposed to research masters. We have another group of research type programs, but these are what we call our professional programs at SMU, and I'm the dean for the postgraduate professional programs. I have provided this in a color scheme, some sort of a color scheme, color coded this for you, but it probably doesn't make sense because you don't know our school colors. The blue ones are the business school, all right? The red ones are our School of Accountancy and the other schools there as well. But the idea is that this is the entire portfolio of the programs that we have. We have the management programs. The management programs are the one where these are the management program at the top left are where you find these are the MBAs, your MIMS and the Master of Management, EMBA, and so forth. These are the generic general management programs. These are our portfolio of finance program from wealth management, applied finance, quantitative finance. And on the next part here is our portfolio of what we call, in the business school, they call it specialized masters. These are your human capital program, human capital leadership, communication management, and innovation. And actually, from everywhere else from the other school, they're all specialized because they all come from a specific discipline and school. Jiwei later on will share with you about the two programs that we have at the School of Accountancy, the MPA program and the MSA program, and they are geared for different objectives, different student profile, and so on. So you can have a little bit of further information about how the two programs differ and how it may suit you. Our MITB program is a blend of business and tech. They are obviously very popular nowadays as well, with all kinds of options in analytics and so forth. But that's the MITB program. My economic colleagues have two programs, and my law colleagues have two programs. The JD is a qualifying law program, and that's the longest program we have at SMU, and that's a 3-year program, full-time only, to qualify as a lawyer and call to the bar and so forth. And the Masters of Law is the non-qualifying program where you're already working in the legal field and so on, and you are looking for an upgrade in a specialized area, for example. So that's options that we have. We also have, obviously, as I said, our research colleagues, research program. They have their own info session at about 3:10. They also have their own chat room at 3:10. So if you have, not at 3:10, they also have their live chat session going on for the entire day. So if you have questions around that area, that's probably where the best source of information. And before I pass to Jiwei again, so sorry, just going to make sure I get to do this before in case we run out of time, is to let you know that next As I said, these are the, where you can find us. There are chat rooms for all the schools, and they are available within the headhunt, what they call Zone 1. And if you want to know more about SMU and our programs, talk to our program directors, our students, our counselors, again, we would have invite you to our Master's Day on the 3rd of October. The website is there, SMU.edu/Masters Day. And you can have a master class. You can have info sessions about our program in a more detail. Obviously, in this setting, it's going to be very, very condensed. So if you want to find out more about our programs and how we can help you in your pursuit of upgrades and so on, please mark October 3rd in your calendar. So without further ado, let me do a very quick introduction again for Prof. Wang. Jiwei is a associate professor in accounting at the School of Accountancy at SMU. As I said, we are old friends at the School of Accountancy. He has been around for a long time. He's the program director for both MPA and MSA. And without further ado, Jiwei, I'll pass the screen to you and I'll stop sharing here.
Thank you, Professor Themin. And let me share my screen with all the participants. Well, good morning to all of you. It's really my pleasure to be here today to share all that we are doing at the School of Accountancy at SMU. So as Professor Themin introduced just now, we actually have been working together for quite a long years. I joined SMU in 2003, I believe probably just 1 year or 2 years after Professor Themin. So we have been always working on some of the postgraduate programs at the School of Accountancy. So today I'm going to introduce you to the two programs as what Professor Themin mentioned just now, the Master of the Professional Accounting and the Master of the Science in Accounting with specialization in data and analytics. The MPA is the most established professional accounting program in Singapore. And we set up this program from the very beginning, that is in 2006. So it's going to be 15 years anniversary of this program. And the focus of the MPA is on the professional qualifications. So the target profile of the student definitely would be the student who have not yet done the comprehensive training of the professional accounting. And the other one, MSA, focus on the more advanced data and analytics. I'm going to share with you a little bit more later. And this is the relatively new program. We launched it in 2018 just to meet the demand of the industry about the new technologies skills. And the core or the similarities of these two programs is that the common sense of these two programs is that we always cover the most important data analytics foundation for both programs. We also have an internship for both programs. We have elective courses for both programs and a lot of other things which we do at SMU, which is quite unique in terms of the postgraduate education, such as the dedicated career services, not just for undergraduates, also for the postgraduates. And we also do quite a lot of social responsibility activities for the students. And we even have the global immersion program. But unfortunately, I don't think we are able to do now. But once the situation is getting better, we will relaunch the global immersion programs to other countries and regions. I'd like to go through with all of you the value proposition of these two programs, why this is good for you, and why it's something you can consider to join us if you are considering to join a postgraduate program at SMU. And we are in a School of Accountancy, so you see that accounting profession is always the most sought after profession in Singapore and many other places. So I think the key, the unique characteristic of the accounting profession is versatility. So which means basically means that graduates can almost go to any organization you can find in Singapore and many other places. And such as here, we have graduates working in the public sector, in the private sector, corporate accounting, the finance functions, the financial services such as banking, investment, insurance, and many of the other opportunities which are available in Singapore and all over the world. And even during the the very unprecedented pandemic period, the demand for the accountants, the demand for the accounting professionals are still very, very high in Singapore and many other places, particularly I think in Singapore, because Singapore is positioned as one of the financial centers in this region. So the demand for the accountants, the accounting professionals, so basically it's the services of the accounting and the finance functions is very, very high. So the most recent survey from the human capital consulting firms such as the Candy Services and also the Robert Half, both of them confirmed that there's still a demand, very high demand of accounting professionals in Singapore and this region. So accounting profession definitely is one of the most sought after professionals in Singapore and the other places. Well, just like any of the other profession, we are always evolving. So if you look at our own accounting profession, some of you probably are not yet into accounting profession. So for us, we have been always evolving and we have been always changing the way we are doing in practice. Just like what we see in the industry revolution. So we always have some new happenings because of the new technologies. We always have some new instruments and new tools invented. And of course, we always have to change our ways of doing things and also the knowledge skill or skill sets of the graduates and working professionals. Say we invented the double entry accounting, double entry bookkeeping about 500 or 600 years ago, and we have always been using that. I believe that this has really changed the way we do accounting. So can't imagine if we don't have the double entry book accounting before. So how could we do recording and disclosure of the information? And when we invented the computer, so this has also dramatically changed the way we do the accounting and reporting and information disclosures, say starting from the 1970s, I think in most places probably starting from 1980 or even 1990s in some of the emerging economies such as even in Singapore, I believe probably something in 1980, 1990. And we started to do the electronic data processing using the computer, which we have never done these kind of things before. And now in the most recent, probably last decade, so starting from 2010, we have the more advanced technologies such as the robotics and the artificial intelligence, which also gave us quite a lot of new instruments and new things we can do in accounting. So along the way, the accounting profession is always evolving. So it also just means that our education, our career, our skill sets should also be changed and also should also be evolved along the way. So that's what we try to convey the message to all the professionals and participants. It means that for any profession, not just in accounting profession, there is always new jobs to be created just because of the new technology and the new tools invented. And at the same time, there will be a lot of repetitive and tedious jobs which to be replaced by the new tools and by the new technologies. So just think about in accounting. So in the past, say for example, if we want to do the consolidation of multiple subsidiaries, so some of you probably are from accounting profession, that now it's pretty simple because we have the computer, we have a lot of automated things which we just need to key in the data, and of course the computer can do everything for us. But can you imagine that without computer at the very beginning? So how could we do the consolidation of the financial statement? How could we do the consolidation of the multiple subsidiaries? So what I remember is that at that time we have to print out multiple pages of the financial statements and put everything in a big table and then do all the manual calculations. But that nowadays, so of course we don't have to do that type of things anymore. So definitely more and more repetitive and tedious jobs will be and to be replaced by the computer and to be replaced by more advanced, let's say, artificial intelligence technologies. But the most important thing here I want to emphasize is that also we always have these evolving changes of the technologies and instruments. But one thing remains is that our domain knowledge. So domain knowledge remains as most important part of our skill sets. But of course, we should always try to upgrade your domain skill sets with some of the new instruments. So the last one I want to emphasize here is that the domain specialists will still decide the AI, artificial intelligence, talent race. So which means that we need to have a domain specialist, such as you are in accounting, finance, you are in marketing, you are in any of the others the professional domain, but at the same time, you should be able to talk to the new technology. You should be able to talk to the new, say, we call it AI specialist. Because of this change, particularly in the last few years, because of the changes of artificial intelligence and also the landscape of all the needs of industry, we also changed the way we educate accounting graduates in SMU. So we used to emphasize a lot on, you see, SMU from very beginning, we are very different from other universities because we emphasize a lot on the domain expertise plus the communications. So you see, for example, our SMU, we have the very famous interactive teaching pedagogy. Even during this pandemic period, we are still very, very interactive. So if you have the opportunity to experience our online teaching, so you will see that online teaching is almost the same as the interactive teaching as what we do offline. And now, starting from 2018, we introduced another pillar, the one you see in the middle, which is the technologies. So we need to instill the technologies, especially new technologies, into our students. So when they graduate, they are able to meet the demand of the industry. So our graduates, not just for the domain, not just for the strong communicator, they are also a very tech-savvy person. Then quite a lot of technology nowadays, you can always search the internet, the new technology every year, and you are going to see quite a lot of different types of technologies. So what type of technology we should try to instill into our curriculum? So we focus on some of the most important technologies which really reshape the way we do in accounting practice. So we call it ABC plus D. So A, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and cloud. And you notice that all the ABC here, in fact, they link to one important thing, which is about data. That's exactly what accountants have been always dealing with in the past. You see that accounting is always about the dealing with the data, dealing with the numbers. In fact, this is the most important data we can have in the business world. So our focus here definitely would be the data. So how we can draw the insights from the data, from the large volume amount of data, which now we are able to have, not just the traditional financial data, but also now a lot of non-financial data, a lot of unstructured data. So even including any of the things, many of the things you are doing every day. So even you are searching the internet, you are using your mobile phone, and even now you are listening to the webinar we are doing now. So everything now, a lot of data actually have been captured into the computer system. So this is a lot of information which can be used, which can be utilized by the accounting and finance professionals to draw some insights which can make a better business decisions for the companies. So you are talking about data analytics. So this is quite a lot of big areas, so a lot of skills which is related to data analytics. Here I just give you some examples which we believe this is something which is really important for the accounting professionals. So from programming to data management and query to the more advanced statistical methods and algorithms to how you visualize the data in a better way. Some people probably don't understand the hardcore of the data, but you need to do it in a nicer way for them to understand, and many of the other things. And we probably don't have to, or we probably don't have time to study everything if you're talking about the data and analytics. So because of this, we launched our data and analytics competency framework for all the accounting graduates at SMU, and we divide the skill sets into three levels. So from the foundation to the intermediate to the advanced. Again, here like quite a lot of things you can take picture and you can try to digest later. What I try to summarize here is that in terms of the main instruments, the main tools we are using for each level of the data and analytics competency framework. Say, for example, at the foundation level, we believe that this is all the accounting graduates. In fact, to me, I think this is supposed to be all the SMU graduates, but I'm speaking for the School of Accountancy. So for all the School of Accountancy graduates, be it undergraduate or postgraduate, this all the graduates supposed to master the first level, which is the foundation level of the data and analytics. So in terms of the main tools we use for this is mainly about the advanced usage of the Excel functions and plus some of the more advanced data visualizations, commercial packages we are able to see now in the market. So of course, you know that Excel in fact is one of the probably most advanced kind of very comprehensive usage in terms of whether you can use it for data analytics. But at the same time, now we have some of the relatively much easier in terms of usage, such as the data visualizations using some of the commercial packages. So I don't have to mention some of the names. You can always look for the data visualizations in the practice, and then this is for everybody. So all the graduates from SMU School of Accountancy, you're supposed to have a foundation. We believe that this foundation should serve the purposes of at least 80% of all the accounting and the professionals, and it should be good enough if you have this foundation. And for some of you, if you are really want to venture into the data area, particularly in the data area, you have to go further to the intermediate and more advanced levels. So in terms of the main tools we use for intermediate and advanced level, you have to learn how to do the programming, and you have to learn how to handle some of the big data using some of the languages. For example, here SQL, SQL, more advanced usage of the SQL. And you should also do the more advanced machine learning and the deep learning type of stuff, which basically means that you should know how to use the computer to draw the insights from the big amount of data. So we can call it big data almost. Also sometimes we don't really deal with the big data in the computer science area, but actually we do deal with quite a large amount of data compared with what we had before. So this is the data analytics competency framework. Let me just try to. Okay, actually, I try to save the time. Yeah, okay. So that's why, so from beginning, I share with you that we have the two accounting programs. So one is MPA and one is MSA, and we incorporate so the data and analytics, the competency framework in both of the programs. So for the MPA, because we target students who have very little accounting knowledge. So of course, your focus here would be the professional accounting knowledge. But at the same time, we always have the foundation skill sets in the data and the analytics field. So we have the data analytics foundation, the one I say just now. So everything is within the MPA program. But for the MSA, we target students who have already done some accounting and business related domain, which means you are already considered as a domain in this area. Then you want to upgrade yourself into particularly into the data area. So you need to study not only the foundation of the data analytics, but also the intermediate and the advanced level of the data analytics. So the focus of an MSA would be mainly on the data and analytics. So all the three levels of the data analytics competency skill sets will be covered under MSA. Well, this is the very simple information for all the participants who are interested in these two programs. So for both programs, we have the part-time and full-time options available to you. And for part-timers, basically is that your workload will be about half of the full-timers. So that's why you have to spend 2 years with us to complete all the courses. And for full-timers, so you can graduate within between 1 and 1.5 years, depending on how you handle your elective courses and also your internship. So you can stay with us for a maximum of 1.5 years if you don't have any of the other leave of absence. And for the intake, currently we only have one intake, which will start in August every year. So of course, the next session would be August of 2021. The MPA has the accreditation from many of the external professional accounting bodies, because this is mainly focusing on professional accounting. So if you want to into the accounting profession, first you have to acquire a domain knowledge. So the domain knowledge is about professional accounting. You have to get recognition. For example, you need to get the chartered accountant qualification. You probably need to get the certified public accounting qualification, and you need to get this kind of recognition. And MPA will give you this pathway, because once you graduate, or even you are taking the courses at MPA program, you are able to take some of the qualification program exams. So when you graduate, probably you can be able to be accredited as one of the recognized professional accounting qualifications. And for the MSA, so here we are not really touch much things about the traditional professional accounting. So the focus here would be more on the data and the analytics. So that's why we don't have much of the professional accounting accreditations. So it's a very different position and different target in terms of what students we are looking for. Then the other, recruiting and requirement, everything is the same for both of them. and you can ask questions later if you have more details. And we emphasize a lot on industry experience for our relatively junior students. We do have a mix of the pre-experienced students and post-experienced students. But for the pre-experienced students, typically who are the students who have less than 3 years working experience, and typically they will be full-time students. So for the full-time students, we will require you to do an internship, which is compulsory. And so far in the past few years, our record is more than 90% of the full-time students, they will take the internship during the study. And this also translates to a relatively higher percentage of the students, particularly for the foreign students who are able to get a job in Singapore. While for the local Singaporeans, it's always 100% recruited and 100% employed in Singapore. But for the international student, you see that we have quite a competitive place in Singapore. So not everybody from overseas are able to get a job in Singapore. But what we achieved so far is about 40% of the foreign students who can get a job from this program. So it's pretty, I think it's very, very competitive in terms of the postgraduate program in Singapore. And our program, both the MPA and MSA, both of them are available to all different levels of the professionals. So we have students who are just entry level, and we also have quite a lot of the senior the students who are in their 40s and some of them even in their 50s. So we believe that accounting knowledge and also the data skills knowledge actually apply to everybody, not just for the entry level, not just for the senior level. So we do have a mixed background of the students in terms of the profile of our graduates. We also have the scholarships which are available to both the local Singaporean and the international students. So we have the ASEAN scholarship, which is of course only available to citizens of ASEAN countries. We also have the Global Excellence Scholarship, which is available to everybody who apply and get admitted to this program. And we have probably it's only one of the very, very few full tuition scholarship from one of our local sponsors, UOB, and the bank. So they sponsored the SMU MSA Data and Analytics Scholarship. So we are going to the 3rd year for this scholarship. So we actually have 2 scholarships, 2 full tuition scholarships. So it's only available to the MSA students who are admitted. And Singapore government, of course, now they take care of all the Singaporeans. So if you have at least 3 years of working experience, and you can apply for the study award for 5,000 from both the accountancy sector. Either one of them cannot be both. You can only get one award. So from either accountancy sector or from the financial services sectors, which is available on the website of the Skills Future. So this is not the everybody has the 500 credit. So this is the special study award. So it's a 5,000. I heard that the content is actually it's quite good. I think they are going to give probably 2,000 or even 3,000 the award per year. So basically means that for all the Singaporeans, as long as you are into the program, once you apply, I believe that you should be able to get it from the government. So this is very strong support from the government to upgrade your skills into the new technologies. While you probably are also asking or wondering that, after graduate, what kind of jobs I may get. So just look at some of the most recent job advertisements from Singapore and also from other places. They look at the Johnson & Johnson. They are looking for a finance leadership development program for 2020. So of course, they always focus on your domain. Your domain is accounting, finance, and business related. But at the same time, they also highlight that the data analytics would be a plus. So it's time for you to upgrade yourself. And look at the UBS, the investment bank, which is in London. They are looking for the equity research data analytics. So they also focus on your domain, which is you must have the accreditation such as ACA. This is the Chartered Accountant qualification. You should also have probably some of the others such as Chartered Financial Analyst qualification. And it's always good for you to have some data science experience, such as you do some programming. So it's always a combination of your domain plus knowledge. Don't forget that you must be a good communicator. Always. So for example, the GIC in Singapore, last year they recruited the associate for their finance department. So they have a data analytics and operations position to the entry level. I believe it's at an entry level. They always prefer you have a finance background. So finance background basically in corporate world, it just means accounting, plus business related. So you should also have the platform experience, including Excel, PowerPoint, Python, the programming, and also Tableau. Tableau, in fact, is the data visualization tool, one of the data visualization tool I mentioned just now. And you know, even for some of the more senior ones, so if you have been working for, say, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years already, so after you graduate from this program, what kind of positions you can look for in the industry? So this is one of the examples. I believe now in industry, more and more companies are looking the professionals who are able to handle the data. So even within the finance department, so we probably have a separate unit which will emphasis on the insights, how to draw the insights from a big amount of finance data. For example, one of the companies in Singapore, Lazada, you know that this is the technology company. They always have a lot of big data. Of course, they always want to draw insights from the data. They are looking for the head of finance data. So look at what they are looking for here. They're also looking at domain knowledge, which is accounting, finance, and plus a lot of data technologies. So that's all the things I want to share with all of you. So if you're interested in the accounting, the professional accounting, and also data analytics, so I welcome all of you to apply. The 2021 intake application has already opened. So just look at our website here. And if you're interested, you can also ask questions later with our staff, which are the contacts are here. So that's all share from my side. Thank you so much. So I think now it's time for me to hand over to the host, and we can open for the Q&A. So shall I stop sharing or? Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I think my audio didn't come through. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say that as Jiwei was saying about producing graduates that are anchored in their domain, I remember one time that we were talking about this whole concept, Jiwei, you remember about SMU trying to produce graduates that are T-shaped. That is, you're anchored in some, discipline, domain. At the same time, you want to add to your skill sets, whether it's whether the soft skill, whether it's communication, leadership, management, and now you really got to be able to add, the ability to deal with data in many, many forms. And I think that's exactly what both the MPA program and the MSA program are offering you. So you're not just doing the domain, but well equipped on the T side of things, where you broaden yourself beyond the domain, because debits and credits are going to be the same everywhere you go. The accounting domain is going to be the same, but how well equipped you are in fronting the entire requirement of the accounting professions, whether you are in a company or professional work, I think that's a key differentiator. I have a couple of, let me just check the questions. I think we answered a lot of some questions online as already. So Jiwei, there's a question here. Maybe you can take that. What sort of admission tests are required for MSA or MPA? Is there a difference between the two, or do you look for the same thing?
So I think this is pretty standard at SMU. So any of the postgraduate program at SMU, you have to take some admission tests. So there's different types of admission tests, but typically you have to take the either a very standardized test such as GMAT. So this is the graduation entrance exam for many of the postgraduate program or of the world, or you can choose, if you don't want to do the GMAT, you can choose to take the SMU admission test. So we have our own admission test, which is similar to the format of the GMAT. In fact, quite a number of students in terms of percentage, a very high percentage of the students will take the SMU admission test because it's relatively easier to manage. So everything is done online, and it's also at your own time, and there's no booking of the time. There's no high entrance fee, and so I think it's much easier for you to manage on SMU admission test. But anyway, either of them is fine. We accept the GMAT, we accept the GRE, and we accept the SMU admission test. And I think this is the most popular ones in terms of the admission test. Then if your first language is not in English, so you have to provide English proficiency test. So typically it's either the TOEFL or the IELTS. So either one of them is fine if you are not from English speaking background.
Yeah, I think in terms of, if I just add on to it, in terms of the choice between do you do a GMAT, GRE or SMU admission test. Now, obviously, if the SMU admission test only works for SMU because it's our own test, but if you are actually looking for a number of, if you're doing applications from a number of places, the GMAT, GRE would obviously be something that you could use at other places as well, because again, we won't take other schools' internal tests and other schools won't take our internal tests. So again, I think it's a question of flexibility, and I hope you are sure that you want to come to SMU, then that's very easy. Then just, for convenience and everything else, SMU test, admission test makes a lot of sense. I think we have actually answered all the questions that we have in here. Jiwei, we still have about 3 minutes to go. Perhaps I can share a little bit about our upcoming things, if it's okay with you, before we head off. So let me just do a share screen again. So let me go here. Okay, so just want to remind everybody that again, today's session is really short. It's really meant for us to just talk to you a little bit about the programs, and we do have a large portfolio of programs. So if you're interested to hear more about our programs from our students, our faculty, our career advisors, and so on, you're welcome. We welcome you to come to our SMU Masters Day. Sorry, something is wrong with my screen sharing. Let me just fix it. Apologies, something is, did it went off? All right, let me try that again. It seems to have gone off. Let me try to do that again. So, yeah, so welcome to come and join us at the Masters Day. It'll be on Saturday, October 3rd. It'll also be online. Again, panel session of our students and so on. I think hearing from the students who have gone through the program, gone through the selection process, the career process, and so on, is going to be extremely helpful for you as you make decisions. And there'll also be sample classes and so forth, and things that we could do to show you how an SMU class would work. So please sign up for that. And my colleagues will put the link. The link is already here, but there is a sign up page inside there as well. And again, just to close, just to remind everybody again, this is how you can get in touch with us. For today, obviously the team, Jiwei, we have Faye and Marie, and many of my other colleagues will be manning the chat lines. And Headhunt, I believe that's in Zone 1. So there's chat happening with all the schools throughout the day. So feel free to drop in there and talk to one of our career advisors. There was one final question, just to clear that before we go, before I hand it back to the host. There was a question of what do we look at in terms of candidates and so on. We look at, what you bring into the program. Obviously, if you have work experience, if you have a particular, a special endeavor that you have done, whether entrepreneurship, whether it's, achievement in some other field and so on, obviously that will bring extra dimensions to the classroom that we're assembling. But if you don't have any, of those, then obviously your grades and your academic performance are going to be more important because that's pretty much the only thing you have. So we look at all our candidates holistically. The more variety of things you bring in, obviously it makes that holistic assessment more complete. If you do not have others, then we will have to look at your scores and your academic results a little bit closer. And with that, let me pass back to our host. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Themin. May I just add? I think it's very good for you to mention, what kind of attribute we are looking for in terms of admissions. We look at different aspect of the candidates. But I think there are two things we emphasize a lot, especially for the MPA and MSA. So which is first one definitely is communication skills. So we are looking for the candidates who are really good at the communications, as we are training the accounting service providers. So the second one is that we are looking for the candidates who really have a positive attitude. So I think attitude is something we also emphasize a lot in terms of the attribute of candidates. So just want to highlight two things. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, I'll pass it back to the host.
Thank you for your sharing, Prof. We'll now be conducting our poll quiz.
Jiwei, you're not allowed to answer.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you have enjoyed and benefited from this session. We still have sessions ongoing throughout the day, so do come in and join us for them as well. Thank you.